Hey, this is Russ. I am back on the Busse Woods Trail. So today is Wednesday, and you might know that on Sunday I was out here, and while heading here I fell off the bike because my shoelaces got caught in the pedals. Well, I've removed the laces, and so we are now laceless. So I decided to come back out here again on Wednesday. It's around, what time is it now? 10 o'clock. The last time we were out here, we were at 8 o'clock. So we're about 2 hours later than we did on Sunday. I'm hoping to see if the sun being a little bit higher up in the sky won't affect our photos and our videos as much. I don't know why I said photos. I guess I'm used to saying photos because I take a lot of pictures. Not lately, but I had in the past. So here's what I did on the way coming here. I decided to stop at every stop sign. Now, I will admit it's not a full stop. It's about as close to a stop as you're going to get without staying there for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So I slow down to as slow as I can before actually having to put my foot down, and then I move forward. That's about as good as I'm ever going to get. I don't think I'm willing to stop for a full 3 seconds, which is by the letter of the law, I guess, the way to do it. But it's been noted by others that stopping a bike is actually more dangerous than actually riding the bike. I tend to agree with that comment. So let me show you how I would stop. Okay, let's get past this shadow area. I will stop at this stop sign that's coming up here. Here's how I've been stopping. So I'll come up to this, and I'll stop to something like this, and then I will go. So you see, it's actually not an actual stop, but in comparison to what I had been doing, that's a stop for me. Okay, and I think most people driving would understand that you're slowing down to the stop, but you can't be stopping all the time because the momentum won't be there to get started up again without a lot of that effort. Okay. So you may know that I haven't been stopping in the past because, the left leg strength isn't there, and I'm always fearful that if my bike somehow leans to the left, will I have enough strength to keep my bike up and keep me up? And that's why I opted to fall on the right side recently with my shoe stuck on the pedal. I knew that I would fall. There's no doubt in your mind that you're going to fall because you can't get your foot off the pedal. Can't put your leg down on the ground if you're stuck on the pedal. But it was either that or take the gamble with the left knee, and I can't take that gamble, not with a replaced knee. So that's the best I'm going to do, and I think I'll be doing that going forward. Now that, of course, will wear your brakes out a lot faster because you're using the brakes a lot more now. And that brings me to my next point. You need to learn how to adjust your brakes. I literally adjust my brakes on a daily basis now. You got to know how to fix it. You got to know how to adjust the brake cable, everything. I think that's probably one of the more important things to do, because without brakes, you're just a runaway train, right? So you've got to know how to fix your brakes, which means you got to bring tools with you everywhere you go. You're going to need hex drivers, Allen keys, Allen wrenches, whatever you want to call them, okay? I'm not really sure what the millimeters are. It could be 4 or 5 millimeter. I'm not really sure. The hex drivers or the hex keys that I have, they don't actually have numbers on them. It's just it's a series of different sizes. So I just picked the one that actually fits. I have no idea what it is. So you got to bring some with you so you can adjust the brakes and adjust the cable when needed. And you may find that you have to adjust it while you're out on the road. That's happened to me several times where I really had no brakes because it had loosened up so much during the ride. So you got to pull over, hopefully in an area where you can come to a rolling stop somehow and adjust it. My front brakes seem to need adjustment a lot more than my rear brakes, and the front brake really is the thing that gives me the power to stop. The rear brakes help too, of course, but the main stopping power is from that front brake, and so that's why I think it loosens up so much. So anyways, today I'm recording at 4K at 24 frames a second with a standard bit rate. Now, the reason I decided to do that this time is because the last time we shot it at 1080p, I could see some little artifacts that weren't to my liking. I don't know how you felt about it, but I did ask you guys the question, if you notice any issues with the 1080p compared to the previous ones that we did at 4K. And I noticed it on my computer monitor. So I'm going to do this one at 4K just to see what it looks like. Now, I do know if I do the entire path, it's almost about a half-hour ride to go through Busse Woods, plus whatever I've already done up to this point. So that could take a while to put together. I think even that 23-minute video took me about 2 hours. How long will a 45-minute video take? 3 hours? 3 hours to render, maybe 3 hours upload. We'll see. But I want to see what the quality differences are. In addition to that, the change in the time, putting the sun a little bit higher, would that be an improvement? Now, I mentioned before on the last video, 12 noon might be the ideal time. Now, 12 noon is the absolute worst time to take a photo for a portrait. The sun is directly overhead, you got shadows and everything, but in terms of a video on a bike, 12 noon might be better because you don't have, you don't have the sun to contend with when you're facing the sun, and then going into these dark areas here. I mean, there's definitely a difference. So I figured, well, let's try 10 o'clock. Let's try somewhere in between that 8 o'clock and 12 noon. You might notice too that there's a lot less people out here on a Wednesday. You do a weekend, forget it. There's a ton of people out here on Saturdays and Sundays at Busse. So, like I said, I felt like I was playing dodgeball, dodging all these people. Not today. So, hopefully you've been noticing the width that we're getting with the GoPro Hero 9, and that even when I'm pedaling, the video should look pretty stable. It shouldn't be bouncing up and down. Now you will see my bike bouncing up and down, of course, because I am taking the bumps. But the horizon should look pretty steady. That is the main benefit I saw with moving to the GoPro, because the GoPro has really good stabilization. Now, this latest firmware update, 1.60, seems to have fixed a lot of problems. Some people still say that it's not as steady as it could be. Well, when I don't know any difference, it's a lot better than my last one, right? Than the Canon camera was. So to me, I'm okay with it. The interesting thing is, though, in just, I think one more day, I think on the 16th of this month, on September 16th, the new Hero 10 comes out. Now, I do have the option to return this one and get the Hero 10. But I don't think I'm going to do it. They gave a discount on this one, obviously to help move them out. But it's only a week after I received it that this new one's coming out. But I think for the money difference, I'm fine with the Hero 9. Because the things that the Hero 10 will have are things that I'm not even going to use. I mean, it goes from 5K ability to 5.3K. Yeah, the geese are all over the place here. I'm shooting at 4K. So, will I ever use the 5.3K? No. There's a new processor. I think that's to help with the lagging issues and potential freezing issues, but I have not experienced any of that with this firmware update. So whereas the Hero 10 is the latest and greatest, the Hero 9 with the Labor Day discounts is the best buy. So I'm going to stay with the Hero 9. Now typically, if you know me, I usually have the latest and greatest cameras. I don't see the need in this particular case. It's almost the same thing with the Canon G7X Mark II that I have. The Mark III came out and everyone asked me, are you going to shift to the Mark III? And I said no, because the Mark III had issues with autofocusing. So although it added certain features, if you lose your autofocus, what good is it? So I said no, and that's why I stayed with the Mark II. In fact, I was actually tempted to buy a second Mark II as a backup. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I find now that really what I needed was the GoPro, because I'm doing these bike videos now. If I was shooting things other than bike videos, maybe a different camera would be better, but not in this case. Okay, we got heavy traffic here. Yeah, so I think the Hero 9 is where we're staying. We're not moving to the 10, and we're never going to notice it because I'm never using their upgraded functions. So now we are facing the sun right now, so that should probably affect our video a tad. But again, the sun is slightly higher up in the sky than it was at an 8 o'clock time period, and it's 2 hours difference. And the thing with biking videos or any type of action videos, your sun is going to change constantly because you're going in and out of shadows. You're changing direction. It's not like a static shot. It's not like something that you set up and then you just stay there and record. You're moving all the time, so your sun is changing all the time. So you rely a lot on the automatic functions of the camera to help you along. I mean, if you tried to shoot this manually, like for instance in photography, I shoot everything manually. I set my settings. I don't choose auto settings in my camera. But on video, you kind of rely on the automatic functions because you can't change it while you're riding your bike. And how many times will you need to change your settings as your light changes? You can't do it. So it's kind of critical that you get a camera that is capable of doing it. Now the GoPro has issues. Watching the last footage, it's not perfect. Not all of the footage is great. And what a lot of guys will do is they'll just cut those parts out and go and do something else. I'm going to go forward this time. Typically I turn left at that point, but since we have time, let's go forward. I know that this eventually will run out and I'll have to turn back, but that's okay. We got time. So I think what I'll do, because since we're doing this, and you know that every time I make these absolutes, I end up changing at the last minute. I may cut this video in half. I may do a part 1, part 2, because I think in this case, with the long processing times it takes to process a 4K video, I think it's actually smarter to cut it in half. So if I don't have a definite ending to the video, you'll know that it's okay. Here we go. So I'm just gonna turn around. I mean, you can keep going to other areas, but I'm not gonna do it. If we don't have a solid ending, and I just put some graphics up on the screen saying watch part 2, you'll know that I had to cut it because I don't know where the cut will be. Yeah, I thought this thing goes further down, but apparently not. I think over here, if I take a left turn here, it goes further down, but eventually you'll have to kind of come back around anyways, so I'm not going to do that. I don't come down this area that often, so I don't remember. So how's my knees doing? Well, you know that the replaced knee is the left knee. Believe it or not, that one's doing better than the right knee right now. After falling, I still feel the sting a little bit on the right knee. So now, yeah, I feel it on both knees. There's a couple guys fishing down in the water level. So let me tell you about the knee that took the fall on Sunday. So as you know, I skinned my knee pretty bad. And so as that heals, the scab starts to, I don't know, it's almost like it wants to shrink a little bit. And so that makes it hard to bend your knee, because if you left your leg straight, it'll kind of position itself in that point, and then if you try to bend your knee, it's gonna pull on it. So what I did is when I was sitting and the like, I would keep my knee bent as much as I could, and even when I was sleeping, I tried to keep my knee bent all night long, because I know that keeps the stretch out there, and if the scab forms, it'll be easier for it rather than if it formed when it was straight. So yeah, I still feel it, but what I feel is the scab pulling, if that makes sense to you. And because of that, I am throttling more than pedaling still. Now coming here, I pedaled quite a bit, and I kept thinking about that because I didn't record it. So by the time I get here to Busse, I've already ridden 10 or 11 miles, and I said that, well, you're not going to see me pedal because I'll be tired and I'll be throttling more, so all you'll think is all I ever do is throttle, and that's not true. I actually do kind of a combination of both, really. And then even as I'm pedaling, I'm throttling at the same time. I do that a lot. So you'll see my hand, you'll see my thumb, kind of kick it in, kick it off. All right. Now, if you're constantly throttling nonstop, you are eating battery power. You're almost better to throttle up, get some power going, and then coast or pedal. Okay. So here I am pedaling. I need some power to go up this hill, so I throttle up. Once I get that level, I release it and continue to pedal or to coast that difference. So I'm on and off. But if you throttled and left it on the entire time, you're just eating battery power like crazy. So you don't want to do that. The dog had a big stick in its mouth. I'm talking a big log. So yeah, that's how I typically do it. I mean, if you're buying your e-bike or you're new to the e-bike, you'll find what works for you. What works for me is this on and off business. That'll give me a little more battery life before the battery runs out. Not that I have to worry too much about it anymore. I've got so much range now with 2 batteries that I don't really even have to. I could do this whole thing battery power on 1 battery. I could throttle the whole thing, get here, get back home on 1 battery, and still have another battery left to do it again. So having the second battery takes away the anxiety, the battery anxiety that I had when I first started out with the e-bikes. I don't have to worry about it. And if I feel like going at pedal assist level 3, I can do it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I find that I'm usually in 3 now. I was in 2 most of the time before, but I find that 2 is a little too slow for me now. I prefer to go faster, and I don't have to worry about it anyways with the battery, so why not? I like this bridge. Should look really nice when it's nice and wide. We're going over the top of one of the roads, so you should hear car noises. And by the way, I had a request to do a comparison of the microphones, the built-in microphone of the GoPro versus the microphones that I'm using with the lavaliere mic that's attached to my helmet. This is the elk area, so I always slow down here to see if I can see any elk. But again, like I said, sadly, I cannot zoom in with the GoPro easily, so I'm not going to, but for me at least, I like looking. So he requested to do a comparison. So what I think I'll do is I'll kick in and out the audio from, I don't see them now, from using the GoPro camera mic and also the Shure lavaliere mic that's attached to my helmet. And that mic, of course, is attached to an external Zoom digital audio recorder that's attached to my belt on my back. No, I don't see them. I don't see the elk. Now, there's no way I can test the wind noise thing because I've already attached, I don't see them. I've already attached the dead cat filters on the camera, so I don't want to remove that because then I'd lose the sticky stuff with the dead cat, and I don't have that many of those. So what you should be listening for then would be clarity. The wind noise is being helped by the dead cat for the built-in GoPro microphone stuff, and typically you can turn off the wind noise filter that's built into the menu of the GoPro, because the dead cat cuts out all the wind, so you really don't need that filter. And what I've heard is that the filter kind of degrades the sound qualities too. So what you're hearing with the GoPro ones would be, for at least for me, is the best possible sound its microphone can do without the wind filter. But if you listen to the lavaliere microphone, you should notice a clarity difference in my voice. It shouldn't be as muffled. It should have some brightness levels to it, maybe even a little more depth to it. And the windscreen that's on the lavaliere mic is a big round circular ball, foam ball. That thing really helps cut out a lot of the wind noise. I mean, for me, the wind sometimes gets so high I can't even hear myself talking because I hear the wind just howling against my ears. But you hear absolutely nothing in terms of that with the microphone. Now the nice part even with the GoPro mic is that it's chest mounted, so the camera is consistently the same distance from me as I'm talking, and of course it's relatively close to the mouth because it's on your chest. It's not like if you're doing a selfie stick, you would have the camera further away from you. But the camera is still relatively close to me, so in that regards, it's probably the best you're going to hear from a voice when it's chest mounted. All right, enough of the audio testing. So hopefully that helped satisfy the request of doing a comparison of the audio from the two microphone options. I personally believe the external microphone sounds much better. And because it is on the helmet, I can turn my head either way, left, right, whatever. It's still consistently the same volumes because it's in the same position all the time relative to my mouth. So, yeah, it's a good thing. Let's talk about cost, though. I believe the Shure microphone cost me something like $159. That's for the microphone and the transformer. And then, of course, the Zoom audio recorder was probably another $200. So right there, you're talking at least a $350 audio system compared to the entire cost of the camera is about that much. So, yeah, it better be good, right? Now, I did buy the audio recorder for other purposes when I was teaching photography. I would sometimes record myself with the Zoom recorder. But the lavaliere microphone, of course, is bought specifically for the purpose of these videos. I have two of these microphones, actually. This one is permanently attached to my helmet, and then I have another one that when I need a lavaliere mic, to do other things, I use that particular microphone at that time. So yeah, there's a certain investment in equipment cost to do these videos. And as you know, I don't make that much money from YouTube. We don't have that many subscribers. So definitely subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, help me out, okay? Hit the subscribe button. And hit the like buttons too. The more times you hit the like buttons on my videos, the more that helps push my videos to other people to see, and the more people that see it are potential people who will subscribe. So it will help me if you do those things. Do it all the time, all right? I know I remind you all the time, and almost every YouTube video you ever see reminds you, and that's the reason they do it. And all that extra money that comes in, which is, believe me, not much at this point, it just helps pay for my internet connections and, the purchase of like another piece of equipment to make the videos better. So if you want to support me, subscribe and hit the like buttons. And make comments too. Hopefully they're nice comments. If you put some really nasty comments, I might ban you. No, I accept criticism, but if you're just nasty, yeah, I'll ban you. Believe me, I do it. There's people who put stuff down there, and the automatic filters from YouTube automatically isolates your comments anyway, so I immediately see it, and then I can just delete them. Some people don't do that. They just let everything come through, but I don't want to see nasty things on my videos. Nobody likes that. And I know you guys don't want to read that. So I don't welcome that kind of stuff. So if you do it, just know that it's never going to show up anyways, because the YouTube filter thing will take you right out. Things to know. So how's the video look now in 4K? Compared against the previous 1080p video. If you don't see any difference, let me know. I mean, if it's minor difference to you, let me know. If you feel that the 4K is far superior, let me know. Because believe me, I'd much rather record it at 1080p to save myself some processing time and upload time. If nobody can tell the difference, there's no reason to record all these at 4K. But if you can see a difference, just tell me you can see it. Make a quick comment. If you've never commented before, at least do this for me. Let me know if you can see a difference and if it's worth it to continue into 4K. All right. Now we've been going in and out of brightness levels because, you know, in the forest preserves you got trees that cover the leaves that cover the sun. So Busse is a very hard thing to record because of that. But I like doing the path because it's a long distance. I think today I'm actually going to go through the path twice. I don't know if I'll record it a second time. I might stop and then start it up as a secondary video. But again, like I said, this video might be cut in half. Very likely I will cut it in half. So I'm hitting bumps, but if you look at your horizon, it should look pretty clean and clear. That's the beauty of this GoPro, I think. I tried doing one video where I gained 10% additional width, but I decided against doing it going forward. I prefer the boost function. Okay, the car stopped for me to pass. And then I had a geese in my path. I like the boost function because it makes the video even smoother. So we lose 10% in our width to gain a little bit more smoothness. I get bugs flying into my face all the time. Believe it or not, we still haven't hit the beginning part of the path yet. That's the thing with Busse, it's very long. If you commit to ride Busse Woods, know that you got an 11-mile ride, unless you turn back. So where are we in terms of our mileage here? We're at 2,178 miles right now. Now typically I would have a lot more mileage than that, but I will tell you that the last week or two I have not been riding as much. I have been going out riding, I just haven't been going long distance. Okay, here's where we started. Okay, I consider this my start point. Yeah, I have not been going out as much, but I have been going out on at least short little trips. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching this far. Hopefully you've stayed with me for both parts, because I know I will split it in two. And make those comments. Let me know what you think in terms of 4K versus 1080p. If you like the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys next time.